put everyone on your list. Pre-qualify all of them. So put everyone on your list. You may not call every one of them. This 3-foot rule they talk about, right? Talk to everybody within 3 feet of you. That's okay, but do more listening. Don't talk about your business. You know, hey Frank, how you doing? What brings you here today? I don't know. Frank might be looking to make more money. He might be having a house full of furniture. Well, I'm buying a house and I want to fill it full of furniture. Great. You're going to love our factory direct. If I said, hey, you can make a whole lot of money doing this thing, and he's going, I don't want to sell, you know, and I go, no, really, listen to the DVD. It's okay. That doesn't work. So we want to talk to people, but more about them. Find out where they're coming from. Find out what they want. Then if we have what they're looking for, savings, we're making money, additional income, and we think they're qualified, and we'll go through these personality types to find out if they are, then you could kind of start talking with them and having a dialogue and getting a little bit deeper. Frank talks about asking the hard questions. It was really hard to do that. So, all right, let's do that. I want to get one more thing real quick. There's a statement that Mike Davis makes. It's called, techniques are many, principles are few. Techniques may vary, principles never do. Don't get caught up in writing down what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. It's this concept that we're talking about the mindset. All right? And there's one more that Mike Dillard talks about, and he says you have to give without want in order to have. So when you're talking to your prospect, really listen. And you're going to be empowered after this with influence. Make it ethical influence. If it's not right for them, tell them no. You know what I mean? Or stop and go have coffee. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
We interviewed we're calling it interviewing now. We were playing baseball with somebody, and she said, I saw the DVD. It was an online presentation. We're wrapping it up, and she goes, I really like it, but it looks like there's money involved. Do I have to spend anything? Yes. This is a business. There's going to be some money involved in starting a business. If you opened a Subway, you'd spend some money. Well, I have no credit cards. I have no credit available to me. I have $1.49 in my pocket, and that's all I have. Then this isn't going to work for you. We weren't mean about it, but what do you do with that? You lead her on? What do you do with that? She wasn't qualified. You got to have the money to get in. Bottom line. We've all tried hosting people on IMD agreements. We know how that goes, right? The big list of zeros down the left leg. It's duplicatable. It's not fair to them because they'll never succeed. And it's not fair to you. You only have so much time in a day. Hey, we're all busy. The fact that you guys are here for 4 hours put you in the top 4% of the country. That's not my number. That's statistics. The fact that you're reading Now You Know puts you in the top 4%. Anthony Robbins says most people buy his, if anyone's bought Anthony Robbins sets, it's a dozen cassettes sometimes. He'll throw in another 10 free. He'll tell you right on. Most of his business is people that buy them because they want to say they bought them and they never open them up.
Wow.
You know, that's Anthony Robbins. So let's do this. There's 3 personality types. We talked about the 4. You got the Disc from Robert Rohn. You got Florence Littauer's. That's a great book. You know, pick it up. I don't even know if we have it on the, we might have it on the marketplace, but if not, there's bookstores in there that you can get it from. It's a little complicated. This is going to simplify it for our business, for network marketing. Okay, the 3 types. We're going to call them betas, pre-alphas, and alphas. A little bit different terms, just simplifying things. This is how you know who a beta is. No one nudge anybody next to them or talk about somebody. Betas are lazy, they're downers, they have an entitlement mentality, they're takers, they're not the ones you want for your business. Now here's the rub, they're easy marks to pitch to. Okay? They're easy to pitch to. That's not who we're looking for. You want what they call pre-alphas. That's someone who has posture when they walk in the room. We've all seen them, you know? They walk in the room and everyone's saying, who's that guy? Or he looks sharp. Or in your mind, something clicks. He has something. Laura knows a lot about this. Laura is a Reiki master. Okay, it has to do with energy and internal qualities. But people give off energies. You're going to start to be able to read this as you practice this a little bit. You can do this today. You don't have to pitch people, but you can do it today as you start meeting new people. you're probably thinking of people right now in your head. You're putting them into little boxes. And that's okay for what we're doing right here. They have a powerful presence about them. And the alphas that we were talking about, that's your Tony Robbins, your Donald Trump, presidents, kings, leaders. They're people that can pick up the phone and have 300 people in the room now. They're out there. We want to look for that type of person, because let me tell you, you find one of those, and Marianne can attest to that, your business changes very, very, very fast. You've got a bunch on you, right? And they popped up. And Chris said that they were like 12 away from you. Like, you hosted someone who hosted someone who hosted someone who knew a guy who drove in a car. Frank, you know, Frank. All right, let me cut this a little short. If we're thinking about this, climbing a mountain. I'm an Everest guy. I've been fascinated with that mountain my whole life. If you were gonna climb a mountain, you need a team and you need some tools. Nothing's different here. The betas on your team, if you built this mountain climbing team with betas, they're the ones hanging on the rope. They're the ones making it harder for you. They're the ones that quit and leave when it gets a little bit cold, and then they blame you for them quitting. But they did nothing to help you. They weren't willing to learn how to climb. They weren't willing to look up, how to use some tools. The pre-alphas, this is who you're looking for. They want to climb. They want to climb. They may not know how to use the tools that they need, but they'll learn. They'll read books. They're open for information. They'll come to a meeting. They'll go to a convention. They're the ones that you can work with. They have a reason for doing this. They may want more money. They may want more time with their family. They may have credit card debt they want to get out of. They're miserable with their job, and they're willing to do something about it. You'll get that by talking to people. It always goes back to, 3-foot rule, talk to everybody, but find out what they're looking for. Find out if that's who you want. You start building teams with that, and things change very, very quickly. And if you just find 1 or 2 good people, that'll help, but it's gonna take a lot of work to find that. You're gonna have to bring a lot of people in. The way we can bring in a lot of good people is to recognize this alpha type that we're looking for. They have that inner game. You sports guys, Matt, you're big. You know what I'm talking about, that inner game. They got their head together. They're the ones before the event, they're going through it in their mind. They've got a plan, they've got a goal. If we can just find those and show them as this is something that they may be able to benefit from, that's a good guy. Does that make sense? Am I going too fast? I'm cranking through 3 books and an hour's worth of material in like 15 minutes. So Marianne thought she was talking fast before. We just thought you were practicing coming up to Jersey Street. That was perfect. That was great. All right.
Are you telling me that people in the South are slow?
Yeah.
No.
Talk slower.
But the things that keep, it's real easy to say, hey, that's great, Joe. We understand, $208,000. I understand if I put those people in, that happens. But I got to be able to put that amount of people in. Anyone ever think that? All right.
Yep.
Well, you see it, and once you're in it for a little bit, you say, it looks like a lot of people. You got to contact. You want to develop some leads, but the reason that we don't is because of fear, criticism, and objectives, right? That's pretty much the 3 things. The fears of the criticism and the objections. What if I could teach you how to control that fear when you're making a phone call? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
I was a cop. Scott was a cop. Frank's a fireman. Fear isn't really in the game book for us, I run away from fires. How he's a fireman, I have no idea. I was in 2 burning buildings. I want no part of them ever again.
I'm with you.
But, okay.
And I don't like a bullet whizzing by my head.
I'll do the bank.
Just keeping it
But
real.
where other people have the option of being afraid and leaving, we have to deal with that. And they teach us a lot. We go through a lot of training for that, because don't be down on yourself because you're afraid to pick up the phone or you're afraid of stuff. It's not your choice. It's a physiological reaction. It's short as gas. I know it gives me gas. There's some guy's name, something Admiral Syndrome. Your body goes back to prehistoric days, and you get afraid, and your body says, fight or flight. You've all heard that? Remember that from school?
Yes.
All right. That's not you in charge. That's a part of your brain that you don't control. And what brings that on is stepping out of your comfort zone. Your body starts going, ooh, your brain doesn't know you want to be rich. Your brain knows it has to survive. So it does everything that it can at that point to start shutting you down. Don't make that phone call. Hold off. What if he says no? What if it's bad? That's the head game. That's the inner game that some of these alphas have mastered. This was what they taught us in the police academy is you can control fear and we'll adapt it to us. Everybody stand up just for 1 second. This will take 30 seconds. If you take a deep breath, because when the fear kicks in, the first thing that happens is you stop breathing. All right, your body's shutting down certain body functions. So when you realize, I wouldn't do this in front of your prospect, I'd do it before I walked in the room, but it's easier before you pick up the phone. You take a deep breath and let it out slow. Then tighten all the muscles in your body. It gives all that crazy energy that your brain is making up fear after fear after fear after fear. It starts spiraling out of control. It gives it a place to go. You tense up 30 to 60 seconds, breathing while you're doing that. And improve your posture. Just think for a second, stand up straight. It changes the mindset. Tony Robbins calls it changing your state. It works. All right, so if everyone just take a deep breath. Okay, good, sit back down. Listen, that was quick. That is a very, very powerful tool. That's easy to remember. And try it the next time you make your call. It works in conjunction with why you're making the call. Remember what we're doing here. If we're coming back from ethical influence, not cunning or manipulation, we truly have someone else's interest at heart. Caroline may be able to benefit from this, but I don't know. I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna get to know her a little bit. This is all about rapport and relationships, and that doesn't mean taking people out to lunch 4 or 5 times before you sling the business at them. It's learning them. There's a couple of ways. I guess we have to get leads, and there's really 2 ways to do it. We're doing it online, and we're doing it, networking and personal. But any way you do that, do it to establish relationships first. All right, I'm getting a little bit off track. Give me 1 second. Realize that the fear isn't real. All right, if we can master this fear thing, we can all make more phone calls and get this in front of more people, and it'll really help the business. Think about when you were a little kid, right? There's a monster in the room. We go under the covers. We never thought that monsters can go under covers, but it works. You go under the covers. You call for mom or dad. They come in the room. They turn on the lights. They look in the closet, and there's no monster. But it was very real to you at the time. If you realize that this is the game your mind's playing when you're picking up these phones, if you realize that fear is created and that you can master it, that little technique will help you, then realize why you're making the call. I mean, I used to tell people, if you're calling for you, hang up the phone. If you're calling for them, make the call. And you only know by calling them up and asking them. When you make those calls, you're only going to get 4 objections. It's, I don't have the time. I mean, they're going to be, these are the real objections. You're going to be some surface ones, but they all fall into these 4 categories. One, they're going to say, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't trust you, or I don't think I can do this. Now, your job as professional master networkers is to find out those underlying reasons, and we talk about the hard questions. They used to say, you can't take this verbatim, but ask them the question 5 times. And if I don't have the time, well, you would say, well, that's what this is all about. It's to get you more time. Why would you not look at something that can give you more time? Because I'm really, really busy. I run 2 companies. I don't spend enough time with my wife. We're on the verge of divorce as it is. And I have a child I never see. I can't do anything else. It's easy to quit there. And it's hard to ask the question again. But if you're coming from the right place, and you say, that's got to be really, really difficult. It sounds like you want to spend more time at home. Well, I really do. Do you have any time? If there was something you could do, I'm not saying that this could work for you. If there was something you can do that would get you an extra 5 or 10 hours a week with your son, would you take a look at it? Well, I don't know. You got to keep the dialogue open and address. Have you seen a program like this before? Well, Amway 5 years ago, and it didn't work. You see where I don't have time took you? I can appreciate that. I worked with a guy who made no end. You see where I'm going? Ask the deeper questions and ask from the right place, and you'll get the right answer. If you can continue to keep the dialogue open, there's a really good percentage. They're going to look. They may not do this, but they're going to look. And that's really the ultimate goal, is to share the information and let them make their own decisions. All right? So that makes pretty much sense. Now back to betas, pre-alphas, and alphas. A beta is going to ask you 5 or 6 questions. They're junk questions. That's how you know he's a beta. That's where the maybe this isn't for you comes into place. Those are just negative, negative, negative. They've never succeeded, and the last thing they want is someone they know to succeed, because it makes them feel like a failure. They want to pull you down. They're the crab in the bucket that doesn't want the one to escape, and they'll all pull them back in the bucket so that they're all miserable together. What do you call a basement full of cops? A wine cellar. We had to stop. We had to stop hanging out together. Now listen. Here's the other hard part. In this same scenario that we just had, the alphas who we're looking for are going to question you. That's how they got to be successful. A businessman who owns a multi-million-dollar hospital isn't going to go, okay, I'll join. He's going to say, well, how do I know this is real? Is the company been around? Is this one of those pyramid things? You can do a couple of things when that happens. When they ask you those questions, you can respond in a couple of ways. And this is how the stress thing kicks in again. It's that physiological stuff. Someone comes at you with, is this thing a pyramid? You can absorb it and go like, I don't know. You can attack them back. No, it's not a pyramid. This is a great thing. My family's in it. We love this thing. Or you could freeze, and you don't know what to say. Let me ask you something. Do you want to be in business with someone who runs from you, fights you, or won't talk?
No.
Right. So those responses to the critics don't work. That's where you have to listen again and find out where they're coming from. This sounds like a pyramid. Wow, that was really strong. State the obvious. You can always reflect things back. That's one of his martial art things. Scott does a great talk on network marketing and martial arts. Wow, that was a really strong reaction. I just want to show you, and you're saying is this a pyramid? Did you have a bad experience with a company before? They'll tell you. And then from there, you can break that down again. Well, listen, this isn't product driven. You don't have to have stuff in your garage, and you can address it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. So I think what we're doing is getting to these. It's like a 5-step sales process. It's selling without selling, and there's a whole nother. You can go an hour on it, but basically, it's what you want to do is build a rapport, and that can be done in 5 minutes. You can do that in an elevator. It's talking to someone to really find out who they are, why they're there, what's going on. Hey, small elevator. What brings you here? Well, it's a hospital. Well, are you sick? No, someone else is sick. Well, what's going on? You can find out. People will tell you some crazy stuff really quick because nobody asks. Nobody listens. Everyone's so busy selling them stuff. We've all been there. Everyone's pitching, selling, buy my stuff, read my book, take my CDs here. No, there's more. Wait, I'll give you. There's a great little video on YouTube called the Pushy Networker, and it's everything wrong that everybody does. This guy's, how do I say, a lady of the night. He's in New York City. He's, hey, you want to get into a network marketing company? And she's like, well, what? And it's everything people do wrong to extremes. I encourage you to check that one out and look at it. But if you think of the lion in the desert, the lion may need water, but you don't want to bring the water to the lion because lions, your alphas, will eat you. They're lions for a reason. So the quandary, how do I recruit a lion into my business and survive? You let the lion come to you. You tell the lion, hey, I know where there's some water. It's the best water I've ever tasted. If you had water, you'd probably be able to hunt a lot better. You'd probably be able to run around and frolic with those lions over there and have a good time. Man, can you imagine what a cold glass of water would feel like if you were in the desert? Like one of those commercials, kind of like a gin and tonic. It's got all the condensation on the outside and it's dripping in you. You put it to your forehead. Oh, I love those so much. George, you're down the shore, right? Gin and tonics all summer long, right? You're looking at the lemon, you're listening to the ice. Well, I know where to get those. And they're real easy. I could show you where. You want them saying, well, where is it? They're coming to you. Because if you start pitching and going and chasing after them, they're going to run away. It's that whole hunter fishing thing we've all heard about. You want to dream build their story. You want to tell them what's in this for them, because we cover a lot of ground in the package. Listen, this is good for people. I don't know anyone that's bought a package and used it, disclaimer, that hasn't saved back their money really, really quick. And then everything after that is gravy. My first check in another company was like $7, $11, whatever. I spent $300, I got $11 back. My biggest check, and I was in that company for 7 years, and I attained a medium level of achievement in there. 1 month in this business was more than I made in 7 years in that other company. Make no bones about it. If you haven't had other networking experience, this is a great thing to share with people. It may not be for them, but it's our job. And that's what we do, is to share this with people. You can't deny this to somebody that needs it. And they'll make their own choice if we're doing it the right way. So let me just recap real quick. We're looking for the X factor. We want to develop a good inner game. We want to have a nice outer game. We want to look a little presentable and have some posture when we're speaking with people. We're going to do that by getting to know them with a little bit of rapport, by putting them in these categories. If they're betas, we're done. There's so many people looking out here. We just got to find the guys that are looking. Imagine building your team with nobody but people that want to build this. Can you imagine how great, because we all have some teams established here. Picture if every one of them were doing work. We can start that today by recruiting the right people. And I use the word because that's what we do. We're in a direct sales company. There's so many people that, well, what do you do? I'm Joe Sommese. I have a direct sales business. I used to be a cop. I sell memberships. They're going to find out anyway. Is it network marketing? Absolutely. And then you handle it. You get the ball rolling and you handle whether they hate it, they think you're a nut, they don't want any part of it, or they're interested.